welcome to another exciting episode of Gripping Golf. I'm your host, Billy Daniels. My co-host here, Daniel Brumley. How are you, Daniel?
Good evening. What's up?
Nothing, just recording a podcast.
Another one. Here we go.
Another one. And we have a special guest here today, one of our sponsors, Tim Donnelly, CEO of SeniorVu. How are you, Tim?
Unbelievable.
Oh, that's a big word. That is great.
Fresco?
Danny?
Fresco. I'm kind of speechless.
As long as we don't talk about hot dogs again.
Wait, hold on a second. Yeah. Oh, you don't want to talk about hot dogs?
Hamburgers?
Oh, oops.
Milkshake?
Dogs. Oh. You'll get nothing and like it, Daniel.
Danny, do you do drugs?
This isn't Russia, is it?
No. I own several lumberyards.
So, do you know where they are?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
We could go on and on and on about Caddyshack all day, every day. So, How about I liked the Fresca.
The Fresco
comment.
was good. The Fresco
was a good comment.
I've got some waiting for me.
You do.
So, Tim,
Yes.
you have an extensive background in golf. And, I guess start with, how did you get into golf, and what do you love about the game? Well, maybe I'll start with one question instead of like 7. So, how did you get into golf? What got you started?
So specifically, I'm the youngest of 6. We're all from Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get that? We're all from Kansas City.
All from Kansas.
Yeah.
All 6.
All 6.
All
Yeah,
6.
All 6. No, nobody was imported.
Oh,
You guys are really slow.
yeah.
No.
I love it.
No. So being the youngest of 6, we lived in a house right at 66th and Holmes, if you're familiar with that area.
Very much so.
And after my 3rd bike was stolen, my dad says, "Hey, we're moving to Kansas." So we had a backyard that was literally smaller than this room.
Oh, wow.
And so there's nothing that I could do. And I was like a caged tiger at the age of probably 7 or 8 at that time. And so we moved over to Kansas, found a house in what's now known as Old Leawood.
Mm-hmm.
And the backyard was like a golf course. And
Yeah.
I'm like, and I didn't know anybody. I was just going into the 4th grade. It was that summer, 1976.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know anybody in the neighborhood, so when my dad went to work, I would just go out and take his golf clubs, and I started hitting the golf ball around. Didn't know what I was doing, right?
Yeah,
But and then I had to mow the yard starting that year. So big ass yard. My brother mowed some of it. I would get to mow a couple lines, and I really wanted to do it because it was cool. And so I started mowing little greens in the backyard, and I played from sun up to sundown.
Wow.
And so I had a really good short game at a young age, and went to school. And there's a few kids that belonged to country clubs, and they talked about golf, and I was like, interesting.
I know how to golf.
Yeah. And so we went out to Smiley's, and
Wait, was it in the same place it is now?
no, it was in the 79th in Quivira.
Quivira, yeah.
So and that was Danny Clune and Mike O'Connell, and so I played my first round of golf at Smiley's, and I whooped their ass.
That's
I
so
said,
great.
Hey,
I might be good at this.
This is interesting. So that's how it all started. I knew I had a gift, and so I just kept doing it. And then what really was an inflection point was the old pro out at Wolf Creek lived 2 streets over. He had a son. His name was John. His dad's name was John.
Wow.
And so John Bonella came over and asked my parents if I could go out to Wolf Creek every day with his son and play golf.
Sounds awful.
Sounds awful.
Yeah.
And I think at that time, I was 11 or 12 years old. So he'd pick me up.
Mm-hmm.
He and his son would pick me up at 6 a.m., 5:30 or 6 a.m., and we would come home about 8 o'clock at night.
Wow.
And we did it every single day.
Wow.
That's
And
great.
so I mean, I knew that was a privilege.
Yeah.
That definitely.
And I absolutely, cherish that
Mm-hmm.
because we being a big family,
Right.
and we just didn't have the means to belong to a country club,
Right.
and so I cherish that.
Yeah, that's I can relate in some ways because my parents, my grandparents they lived in the cloisters at right behind Corinth.
Yeah.
And there's a cemetery there, and their house backed up to that. And so that's where I learned to play golf. They retired. My grandfather worked at Black and Veatch, and he said, I'm going to learn how to play golf. And that also meant Billy was going to learn how to play golf. And so I got a set of clubs, and I would hit golf balls into that cemetery all day, every day. And then they joined Leawood South, and I got to play Leawood South. Not every day, but quite often. And then Overland Park Golf Course was the other golf course I played all the time, and which is now Sykes Lady. But I can remember vividly my mother taking me to Overland Park Golf Course, the par 3 golf course, having me sign, and it was like $1, or it was maybe $5. I don't even remember what it was, but
it was $3 when I was there.
It was not. It was, but you could play all day. It was like $5 all day golf, and my mom would start walking with me, and I'd play with a lot of the older gentlemen out there. And she'd never played golf, and so she would just kind of nudge the guys and say, "Are you going to help him? He can't get out of that bunker. You're going to help him." And that's how I learned from my grandparents, and then people just at public golf courses helping me get better. And then Steve King, who was a professional out there, started giving me lessons about, I think I was 10. And so then, then I got involved with Robin Nigro. And when she was at, if you remember, Champions, was out on 135th.
Yeah.
Where was that? Blue Valley Northwest, or one of the schools is there now. And she kind of taught me all the way through high school. And then state championship, I think it was at her facility till like 10 o'clock the night before or 2 nights before. And she had me on video and just trying to fix anything that was wrong. And then I played like the greatest round I've ever played.
Wow.
That was the story I told on the last podcast, where I didn't really remember anything, and then I birdied the last hole at Prairie Dunes, and just loved golf ever since, even before. But that's crazy. So what do you think? I guess maybe describe some of the experiences you had at Wolf Creek with what you growing up as a kid, and I don't know. You've told some stories to me. I know you, and I relate to like some of the older Sam Sneeden guys or Lee Trevino, and when they say you know what real pressure is, it's when you don't have the money in your pocket and you're playing for cash. And you've told me some stories like that a little bit of. Go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, at that age, 11, 12 years old, I got to see the Ron Brewers and Marty Selez and some of those guys, really go at it. So from afar, we're playing another hole, but we're watching their game, and we know that they're pushing it,
right?
They're pressing it,
yeah.
And so fast forward a few years, ended up getting a golf scholarship at the University of Tulsa, and we qualified my sophomore year for the NCAA championships.
Wow.
And so there's like a 3-week period between schools out and the championships, which was being held at the Scarlet Course at Ohio State. And this is 1987. And so the golf coach says, well, you need to play every day. And where are you going to be doing that? And I'm like, well, coach, we don't belong to a country club. And he goes, well, I'll make a phone call. Where do you want to play? Well, I would like to play at Wolf Creek. Yeah. So he made a phone call out there, talked to Jeff Bury, and Jeff said, absolutely. What we'll do is we'll just let him go off first thing in the morning before all the groups. Yeah. And as long as he doesn't get in anybody's way, it'll be fine. And then, I knew, again, this is a privilege, and I need to walk a straight line. So did, and I became, friendly with Jeff, and Rob Wilkins was out there. And so I was very, very engaged with them, and I even hinted around, hey, if you need any help after I'm done. So they said, well, why don't you just come out here, work in the morning, and then you can play in the afternoon. So I started doing that, and I became friends with some of the guys that were out there. Yeah. And I think at that time, there's probably, I don't know, a dozen or so guys that were top amateurs in the city that were all playing, and they when they played, they got their little piggy banks, and so I ended up playing with them. And there was numerous times where what I was playing for I didn't have, right? And that just you can't do that out there.
Right,
so you have to be really good and make sure that you don't lose your ass.
Yeah.
So it worked out fine. I have some great.
You still have your ass.
I still just part of it.
Yeah.
One side.
It's not a
Yeah. Half Moon Bay.
yeah.
So that was another great experience, and again, I cherish that. And then even fast forward a few more years, I ended up becoming real good friends with a guy named John Henning. His dad was one of the founding members out there, and I ended up playing in the member guest, and just again had wonderful memories. And probably one of the greatest stories I had out at Wolf Creek was I was playing with John, and this was the year that Marty Schottenheimer brought his I don't know what his lawyer or somebody, and so we ended up playing them in one of the matches, and so I heard Marty say something about my partner and I, John Henning, saying that those guys suck, and
It's a little bit of fuel.
I cannot believe he just said that.
Yeah.
So we played them the next morning.
Oh,
We pummeled them, right? And we had played off and on, not very good, but we're coming in the last match. They have the 9-hole, point game out there for their member guest, and so we're losing to a couple of legends out there, and we started on number 3, so we're finishing on number 2, and we have this thing wrapped up, and these guys come back and they tie it up on number 1.
Oh gosh.
And we get to number 2, and I turn to my partner and I go, if we lose this, I don't have enough money to cover it. Because, you got all the side bets.
Right, yeah.
And it's probably $1,000 swing. I'm not sure if I can say that on the air, but I'm knee deep. And so this guy is probably 60 years old. I can't even remember his name, but he's a legend out of Wolf Creek. Gets up there, knocks it, or actually his partner gets up there, knocks it about 7 feet. And I'm like, we're toast. And then the next guy, the member gets up there, hits it like 13 inches.
For birdie.
Yeah. On number 2 out of Wolf Creek. And so, and I'm just like, it's over.
Yeah.
I stick a fork in it. Yeah. And I go, John, what are you going to hit? He goes, I'm going to hit a 9-iron. I'm like, are you kidding? You cannot hit a 9-iron to this green. You can't do it.
Yeah.
Pops it in the hole.
No way.
Last hole of the tournament. Marty Schottenheimer's standing on number 17. I'm going crazy, right? And I'm just like, I'm kind of pointing at him a little bit. Yeah. And it's just, so, I mean, the memories that I have out of Wolf Creek are incredible. And
that is
just blessed with great memories.
That's a great story. And I know you a little bit better than Daniel, but Tim might be the most competitive person I've come across in my entire life. So I can only imagine how fired up you were on that number 2, going into number 2. Where was that fire when you and I played in the corporate challenge last year?
Well, 2 years ago, hey, we
won. We won. Last year, we lost because we bogeyed the last hole. We bogeyed
it was a scorecard playoff for first place, and we lost. Yeah.
It was awful.
Redemption, baby.
Yeah. So do you feel like, I feel like in my life, my career, and all the experiences I have, I can equate or chalk them back to golf a little bit, of some of those experiences of molding me to be maybe the man I am today. Well, I might be a boy still. I don't know. Do you feel that way? Do you feel like golf has?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, when you think about when you have to get ready for a presentation, when you have to get ready for a sales meeting, when you have to prepare, and then when you have to perform. I mean, you can always go back and the hours and hours and hours that you spend on the driving range or doing whatever you had to do to prepare for tournaments.
Right.
You can always appreciate, that tenacity or that discipline that you had back then. And you go, well, the reason why I'm over preparing for this business meeting is because I learned that if you prepare, good things can happen.
You execute that. Yeah. That's interesting. Daniel, you got anything? Questions?
Oh, I think it's in every piece of our lives.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
totally.
The way you dress, the way you conduct yourself. I mean, just growing up around a golf course, I think I've mentioned before, I think some of my best friends when I was 12, 13, 14 years old were guys that were in their 40s. Partially because that's who I had to play with to be a little bit more competitive at the time. But at the same time, it was kind of fun to learn from them, and get those experiences and know what to do and how to do things on a golf course, and off the golf course. So you learn a lot and you mature a lot when you grow up at a golf course and you're spending that time from 6 a.m. to 8 o'clock at night. And I did a lot of those same things. I started my golf by just my parents had about 4 or 5 acres and started playing when I was 8 and had a little 9-iron that I'd hit from telephone pole to telephone pole all the time. And then
here in Kansas City,
actually out in Lawrence, Kansas. That's where I'm from, and ended up working at a public golf course immediately when I could, about age 15. And Jim Kane kind of took me under his teaching a little bit. Jim, oddly enough, I know you played at Tulsa. Jim played at ORU. I think he's a little older than you. He played in the 92 Open when Tom Kite won it, U.S. Open, took like 10th or 12th.
So he was there with Bill Glasson.
Yeah, Bill. Yeah, he actually says I look like Bill a lot. So he's always like, "You're the younger Bill. You swing just like him and everything." So I need to grow my hair out a little bit more, but yeah. So I mean, he's kind of an Oklahoma guy. He's still down there. His wife and him live down at Oak Tree, which I'm sure you've played a few times.
No,
you have not.
Not.
All right.
So that was it, and we would have shared the same college golf coach.
Oh, you would have.
Yeah. So Bill Brogdon was my sophomore year. That was his first year at Tulsa.
Okay.
And so prior to that, he was at ORU, and he was coach. He was coach of the year that same year that Glasson was there. And gosh, I'm trying to think some of the other guys. Joey, somebody. But they had a phenomenal team. I think they came in second.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they're very, very good.
Yeah.
So I think it's funny. Small world, right?
Yeah, that is really small.
But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat. I mean, how I was able to grow up and play golf was to work at a golf course, work at a public golf course, work the morning, work the close shift, play on the alternate side of that time frame, and get better and just spend all day, all night out there. So, and those are definitely times you cherish. So for sure.
Talk a little bit. You're wearing Abandoned Dunes.
Ooh.
Yeah. And your experience to go there, I thought I've heard the story, but I thought the whole way, I think it's different from my perspective, specifically that you were here in the office and we kept trying to figure out why you weren't leaving to go to the airport. And it's like, what? Your flight? Why aren't you leaving yet? But talk a little bit about how, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but what that experience was like for you playing the course and doing everything that you did there. And maybe there's things that you can't share, but as two golfers that we are, talk about how great it was and what you cherish so much about it. So,
yeah. So I've got a group there's 12 of us, and we're all from the University of Tulsa. We're fraternity brothers. And gosh, probably 25, 26 years ago, we decided to have a getaway. And I think this started probably in 1994-ish. And so we our first couple of trips might have been like fishing, and then we got smart.
Yeah,
we said let's try this golf thing. So, and I was one of the only golfers. There's a couple of other guys that played, but and we started with a larger group, and then it kind of narrowed down because. But we've got a very special deal. Every year we go somewhere, sometime in the September time frame. And traditionally it's been out to Scottsdale. And then we started talking about doing some really nice places on our anniversary. Right, we're talking about it like this is our anniversary trip.
Yeah, this is the 25th year. We got to go big.
And these guys are phenomenal. Everybody's doing really, really well. And so we splurged this year. And we went out to Bandon Dunes. And so one of our friends is so gracious. Yeah. I mean, he's over the top gracious, and he really helped coordinate a really nice trip, and it was the most fulfilling golf trip I've ever had in my life.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was just the scenery, the setting. It's all about golf. It's not like you're going to take your family there because there's nothing else except beautiful golf courses. And the weather was superb. And the last day, so I stayed back with one of my buddies, and so we played the tips on the last day while everybody went home. And finally, we got the winds. 40-mile-an-hour winds, 30-mile, whatever it was. It was windy. Yeah. And we played the tips, and I go from shooting a 75 the day before to a 91 or 95. I think it was a 95 the next day. And
it's quite the swing.
And we had the same caddy. He's like, something wrong? What'd you do last night?
Yeah.
I'm like,
nothing. I decided to play the tips. That's what was wrong.
Yeah. But we had a blast. It is. For those that haven't done it, I recommend it.
Yeah,
it is awesome. And I played in Ireland, and that's great and everything. This is different. It's in the States. You don't have to fly all the way over there. Yeah. It's very. I thought it was cost effective. It was not that expensive.
That's awesome. Yep. Did you play just 18 a day, or did you guys do 36 or anything? Or
we did. We've learned that we like to have fun. So we're not out there trying killing ourselves, but we will play a par 3, and then they have this unbelievable putting clock, this putting course, and it's it is they're serving you drinks while you're playing the putting course, and
some bets, some cash flowing.
It's so much fun. Yeah, that would be on my bucket list to get you out there.
Oh,
and you too, Dan.
No, that sounds
great. I would love. This is. They do a tournament out there every year, and I thought this. I didn't really know about it until last year, but it's on the summer solstice, and it's the longest day of the year. Yep. And they have the 5th course is opening this year, or is it the 6th?
It is.
Okay,
I think it's this summer.
Okay, so I think it's actually right after this tournament, but they play all 4 18s in one day. So you're 72 holes. In one day, you tee off right when the sun breaks, and then it's just as fast as you can play.
I do know somebody that does that.
Really?
One of our business partners on the senior living side, G5, one of the guys there talks about that.
Yeah. Eric Andrew Lang, who does a podcast, a golf podcast, and he started, have you heard of Scratch Golf with a K? It's like a media. He started as basically a media company for golf, and he's done a phenomenal job. His stuff is really great. He does a YouTube series called Adventures in Golf, and one of the episodes is this tournament, and it's just, I mean, it seems like it would be so much fun, but at the same time, I mean, he's exhausted. I mean, he's counting it down. He's like, man, we still got 18 holes to go. We've already done 3 rounds, and just he looks like he's on the verge of just collapsing it sometimes, and it's just it's really good. But if you haven't watched some of his stuff, I truly enjoy it because it's just a different perspective on golf. But that's incredible that you got to go to Bandon Dunes and in that way too, with your closest friends and spend it with people that you truly enjoy being around. Yep. That's a rarity.
And honestly. None of those guys played college golf. There's only 2 of them that really played golf, and now everybody's addicted to it. Everybody loves it. Yeah, they play way more than I do.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think that's a beauty of golf is it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be the best golfer in the world. You just got to get out there and enjoy it with your friends and get out. I think the thing that you talked about a little bit is the nature, just the scenery, how beautiful it was and how peaceful that can be. At least it can be for me. Maybe not for everybody, but I think we maybe talk about the players a little bit.
Yeah, let's talk about the players.
Players is coming up. Starts tomorrow. Holy cow! It's Wednesday.
How many Pete Dye courses have you played?
Oh, wow.
That's a good question. I'm not the most savvy guy on knowing which architect did the courses. I played. I think Pete Dye did he do Barton Creek down in Austin?
I can't speak to that. I don't know.
No.
I played a few.
Look it up.
I played a few, and it's like reading a Stephen King book, right?
Yeah,
that's what he's trying to do to you. He's trying to mess with
and he does.
Yeah,
he really does. I mean, I've only played 2, I think.
Which 2?
Oak Tree was one of them down in Edmond, and then I played a place called Hideaway. It was actually the first time I ever got on a plane was when I was 16, and Jim Kane actually took me out to Palm Springs, and I went out with him and got exposed to some golf out there, and we played a place called the Hideaway, and it was a 36-hole facility and had a Clive Clark design, and then a Pete Dye design, and I think we played the Clive first. I was like, yeah, this is, really nice, and it's, not too difficult.
Right.
Elevation was kind of weird to mess around with, and then obviously just the way things break towards the valley out there. But then I got on that Pete Dye course, and I was like, what in the heck did I get myself into?
Yeah.
Because if you miss, you're in trouble.
You're in trouble. Yeah.
And it's fun. I mean, it really is a lot of fun, but that aggressive golfer, you better be ready.
Right.
You better be ready. So, and this is a week that's, I think is very enjoyable. I view it as kind of a major.
Yeah.
I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I
Yeah.
mean, it's always called the 5th major, but it certainly seems like one.
Yeah. So why were there 4 majors? Well, way back when, I think there was the U.S. Amateur was kind of a major in a way. And so I think things change. If there may be a day that they include this as a major.
Yeah, I agree.
So I believe that if you surveyed the PGA pros, they would all say it should be a major. Yeah. So it's just history that's holding us back.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, I think the original 4 majors were the U.S. Amateur, the British Amateur, the British Open, and the U.S. Open.
Yeah,
and that was, all the way through. I didn't know this until I really looked it up. It was almost till 1960, and it was really once television came along and Arnie's Army versus Jack Nicklaus. That's when it changed. I guess the Masters came in at that point. And then I guess the PGA Championship would be the other one. So the amateurs were kicked out. I don't know how that all happened, but it relates to the television.
Sure.
It's more exciting. But I agree. I think it. I didn't realize this until looking it up, but the FedEx Cup points for it. Rory winning the 2019 Players Championship last year got the same amount of points that Tiger did for winning the Masters last year. I think you're 100% right. It's just history that's really holding it back from being officially declared the 5th major. But I also thought it was funny that I read his article about the fact that it might be the fact that things just come in 4s. We have 4 seasons. And I just started, it's like, okay.
Grand Slam.
Yes,
right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, there's 5 things on the Grand Slam. That's John Feinstein's point, I believe, is he talks about when you order the Grand Slam at Denny's.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. When you order the Grand Slam at Denny's, there's 5 things on the plate. Yeah. So you should include it. I thought that was hilarious. What a unique way of looking at it, but I think it's interesting.
I think it's just golf on TV, right? Is when these big tournaments come up and the golf, Golf Channel's got almost 24-hour coverage all week.
Yeah.
It's like, honey, when are you coming to bed? I'm just watching the news here.
Exactly.
Golf news.
Yeah, exactly. Just one more shot. Yeah. It's hard to walk away. I know Dre does not understand why I'm just like mesmerized by the TV. She's like, why do you watch this? I'm like, it's awesome. It's so great. She's like, they're not doing anything. Well, I guess they are.
Well, if you think about it too, I mean, it's one of the biggest events that's still at the same venue.
Yeah. One of the
Masters.
Yeah,
right?
the Masters.
That's right.
Yeah.
And also, I was down there last year. I was visiting a customer for a sales call down in Florida, and I thought it was very unique because the community there really rallies around that tournament. Like everybody goes.
Yeah.
Like it's a big deal, you know, and
well, it's like the Waste Management Open.
And I know it's
it's an event.
Yeah, it's an event. Yeah. But I know it's kind of changed now with the timing, right? Because now it's earlier in the year. It used to be a little bit later. It used to be Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Everybody would have their pink shirts on and things like that.
Yeah.
But it's still a big community event. And you see that with PGA Tour events. I mean, it's there's a lot of charitable stuff going on, but this event was just kind of felt different. So, but I'm excited for this week. I don't know who's going to win. I've got some picks, but
I do too.
What are your
think?
thoughts?
What do you think, Tim?
I did a little research.
I
got the text message this was going to be one of the questions. So
who was texting you?
And I did some research. So I believe these young players today are phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I would probably graduate Rory out of the young player category just because he's matured, right?
Yeah.
He is like Brandon DeChambeau.
Yeah.
Is young. I think he's really good. A lot of people don't like him because he's too technical. And I would probably be in that camp out of the gate. But watching him, and you talk about a guy that has changed. He's if you want the same result, do the same thing.
Yeah.
And he put on all that weight. He's a lot more, or he's a lot stronger. And I think he's somebody that we probably should keep an eye out.
I agree. Yeah, 100%.
And so,
not only just for this week, I think just in general in the future that's coming from him. Yeah.
So he's somebody, and I would not rule out somebody that's a veteran that plays really well there. That would be Jim Furyk.
Yeah,
and you could even say Matt Kuchar.
He's playing well this season already. Yeah.
Well, he's very steady.
Yeah.
So those are two of the older guys, younger than me, that would have a good chance. But Rory and Dustin, Justin Thomas. I think those three guys. It's back when I was growing up, and I know this is probably the same for you guys. When there would be the awesome battles.
Oh man!
For me, it was Jack Nicklaus, Tom Watson, Lee Trevino, Arnold Palmer. And I would say in my early years, it was Gary Player and Jack Nicklaus. And then Watson came along and he challenged Nicklaus, and Lee Trevino would be sprinkled in every once in a while. And so I would be out in my backyard, and I would have the Jack Nicklaus Golden Bear golf ball. And then I'd have the Ram golf ball.
Yes. Oh, my gosh.
And they would play each other.
Oh, that's so great.
Especially like when the Masters or U.S. Open was going on. And I mean, it was, my parents couldn't get me inside.
Yes.
That's great. They're in a playoff.
Yeah. I can't come in right now.
That's
awesome. Very similar to when you're watching golf news late at night.
Yeah.
I can't come to bed now. Yeah. That's great. The Ram and the Golden Bear golf ball. That was
awesome.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
Just because it was 1982.
The chip.
Yeah,
I could tell you where I was.
I would love. That's why I wanted to ask.
I was in the upper. So if you all know that used to be called Miller's Woods, and it's the big softball baseball complex out at 135th and Antioch.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know what they call it. Something else now, Shields. Or
yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Anyway, so my brother, who owned a steel company, had a softball team, and so my other brother was playing on the team, and I wasn't old enough to play, and so I was upstairs. The tournament's going on, and I'm watching this thing, like I'm just people are watching me, like this little kid watching this.
Yeah.
And he chips in. I'm running around. I had my arms up like I was Tom Watson, and all these guys drinking pitchers of beer, in their softball uniforms. It's like, what the heck is that boy doing?
Yeah,
he won.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I remember it vividly. And the crazy thing is, I caddied out at Kansas City Country Club. I used to clean the golf clubs when the members would come in.
Right.
But so I got to pick up Tom's range balls. He would be hitting them in the driving range. He'd be at the other side, or on the he'd be on the other side of the tree lines hitting his 5 irons. like right around a 10-foot radius, and it was incredible.
Right.
And so just to have him as an idol growing up, seeing him hit that shot.
Yeah.
And today we still watch it, and I still get goosebumps.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I do too. That and Jack Nicklaus when the Yes Sir, at the Masters.
Yeah.
Was that 86?
86,
yeah, 86. That one gets me every time, specifically around the Masters of just how cool that was.
Sure.
Yeah.
And what about Watson almost winning the British Open when he was 59? Do you know where you were then?
Yeah.
I do too.
I remember where I was.
I'm trying to think. What was that? 2000. What year was that? 2000.
Well,
how old is he right now?
But Stuart Sink won that.
Yeah,
so that was back
the playoff.
in 14. 14, right?
Well,
it was before Spieth's big time year, and that was 15.
Yeah, it might have been 13 or 14. I'm not
hey,
sure.
Siri, when did Stuart Sink win the British Open?
Oh, that's yes, good job. Yeah.
Let's see.
Stuart Sink finished in a tie for 20th place with a score of 100 points.
Oh, 20th. They're not recognizing him.
That's
kind of similar to how a lot of people don't remember who won that event.
Yeah,
but
59. Yeah.
I remember that. I mean, I think
I can remember.
Gosh, I remember when he hit the hybrid, and you could just tell on his face that he loved it. You know, on the last hole.
Yeah, and it went long
in regulation, and it went long. And
the hybrid. Well, he had a 9-iron.
No,
it was a 9-iron.
The regulation.
What am I thinking there?
It was maybe a playoff.
That was probably a playoff hole. Yeah.
The 18th hole, he did hit a 9-iron. And it went too far.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It should have checked up.
Yeah, it should have.
He hit it perfect.
Yeah, and Stuart Sink hit the same shot. It was just he hit the shot a little bit to the right.
And he caught that down slope.
Yeah. I can remember thinking after he hit the chip, or if he putted, and then he had it was like
6 feet.
It was just 6 feet, and I just remember thinking, oh no.
Well, when he missed that, and then the look on his face is just ingrained in my head.
Oh yeah, I wanted that so bad. I would guess that was 2013.
I think you're right, because I was there the next year. I think it was the next year.
Okay.
And so it was at Royal St. George.
Yeah.
And so when Watson was playing the Watson Challenge at Blue Hills, I followed him. I'm walking down with one of my sons. We're walking down some fairway. I'm walking with him. I said, "Hey Tom, gonna be out there at Royal St. George." He goes, "Oh, you're going to Sandwich, are you?" Which is Sandwich, England.
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, we're gonna be out there watching you." He goes, "Oh, it's gonna be great."
Yeah.
So first day, we went on Thursday.
Oh gosh.
And we're wearing all of our Royal stuff. He does one of those little tip of the cap.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was real special. The two boys liked that just because he acknowledged that we were there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you ever played in the Watson Challenge? Or have you ever? No.
No.
Any interest to? Or
no.
No. That was such a great answer.
I want to go out and have fun.
Yeah.
That looks like it's too stressful.
Do you? Okay.
I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't played in competitive golf in a long time.
That was outside of corporate challenge.
Oh, wait. I just brought you down, didn't I?
Yes.
I mean, you
son
live
of a yeah.
You live for that.
Yeah, exactly.
I do.
You don't have that marked on your calendar already?
Oh my gosh.
That was
I'm gonna have to take the week off before just to get ready.
Yeah, so you better.
Oh, that's all I need.
Yeah.
Danny.
I love that Caddyshack keeps coming back.
Yeah.
That's so great. Yeah. Well,
Well, you didn't say who you wanted in the
Oh,
players.
I am. My gut is telling me Rory, and I know that seems weird back to back, but I think he's going to do it. He's coming off of a good week. He's playing pretty well. I think he'll top 5.
If we're picking one guy, so you're picking Rory.
That's who I'm going to pick. That's my pick.
All right, Daniel.
Can I comment on why not Rory?
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Critique it.
I love Rory.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love his swing. I love the way he handles the media. I think he seems to be genuinely a humble guy.
Yeah. You wish your hips moved like his hips?
I wish they did. But that ain't happening. I just think he's got a lot of work to do on his wedge game.
I agree. His short game is not the greatest. But
I mean, his putter gets hot, but every time I see him with a short iron or like a wedge in his hand, it just doesn't seem like his proximity is the best.
Mm-hmm.
But how can you argue against the last 5 times out on the course?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a record.
I think he's just hot. I think he's got it.
I think it's still a good pick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'd probably be biased, and I'd probably go DJ or a Webb Simpson type pick. It's one of those courses where you got to hit the ball extremely well. You know, you got to be a great ball striker, and you have to keep it in play. And I think the guys like Webb and the Kuchers and the Furiks, you know, they hit the ball really well, really straight,
Right.
can control the ball in the wind. They control the flight. They can hold the fairways the way they want to.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of guys, they can hit it far, but they're not going to be able to control their ball as good on that course.
Yeah.
So it's definitely one of those courses where the great equalizer is the course. You know, some of those guys that hit it forever in a day, they get brought back to equilibrium. So I don't know. DJ if I'm a long hitter, and then Webb if I want to keep it in play. So
Webb's an interesting choice to me. At least I feel that way.
he won earlier
Consistent.
in the year, and
I'm not
playing
saying
pretty
it's a bad
well.
choice.
No, not at all. But I like those two.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
One. It was your one.
So I
gave 2.
So I
Yeah, he did,
disguised
yeah.
I disguised how I was describing who I liked earlier,
Yeah.
right?
Jimmy?
I was disguising that.
Is it?
John Rahm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Boom.
that's a good choice. That's a good choice.
He hasn't won this year. He's playing great.
Yeah.
Great
And
putter.
He's due. Yeah.
I think he's due.
Yeah. I would agree with that. Got the
Controlled
distance.
cut.
Yeah.
Probably better
I like
than anybody
his
in the game.
swing.
Yeah,
a lot.
he's due.
Yeah.
I agree.
What's Tony Finau been doing lately?
I
Taking
think-
care of his kids, right?
Yeah.
I think he's got a couple.
He's got
Yeah.
a few.
Yeah.
The thing with Tony, I think he's a guy that is going to be a British Open winner.
Yes.
Yeah. I would agree
Because
with
he
that.
hits that low ball, and
Yeah.
he's played really well in the last couple British Opens. I just think it fits him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised in really in the next 2-3 years, if not 5, he's going to definitely get one.
Mm-hmm.
So
who's your? I'll just go to the next one. Who's your pick right now for the Masters? Tim.
Yeah. So how great was that last year?
That was amazing. That was amazing.
That was very, very special. What if
Yeah.
that happened again?
It'd be, twice as special, twice as crazy. But I don't think it's out of line. Daniel's deep in thought.
I know he
Yeah.
is. He is just. He's.
I think it'd be amazing. I struggle with him beating Jack's record. I just
Oh, you don't want it?
physically. No, I want him to.
Yeah.
I mean, there's parts of me that does and parts of me that doesn't because I'm a big Jack fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, how can you root against the guy?
Yeah, he just
know?
got inducted to the Hall of Fame
That's-
2021.
I mean,
yeah.
he's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
I don't know who's.
Who are the? If you had your leaderboard, give me the top 5 guys
Oh,
that you
shoot.
wish. Not that you think,
Oh.
but you would wish.
Coming in on
Tiger would
Sunday?
be on
coming in on Sunday.
Tiger would be on it. You go.
Tiger. Okay, I'll go first. Tiger, Ricky.
Are we
I'm a
talking
big-
all time or are we talking now?
Now,
Okay.
Now.
All right.
yeah, that would.
I mean,
this
would
will be
need-
easier now.
Yeah.
We need like 4 hours.
We don't have
Sometimes
enough
these go
SD
that
card.
long, yeah.
Yeah. Tiger, Ricky. DJ, Rory. That's 4. And I would actually say Tony Finau. Those would be my 5. I think those guys all excite me. I know Tim, you're not the biggest Ricky fan. I know you
love
like
it.
him, but I think his flat swing is a challenge a little bit sometimes. But
Yeah,
so I'm surprised I didn't say him
love
for the
Ricky.
players because he's done so well there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love Ricky.
Yeah.
He's great. He is a great guy.
and ambassador of the
Yeah.
game. I
Mm.
mean, what he's
Phenomenal.
done for the growth. I mean, not Tiger in a way, but still he's grown the game just with being himself. So, but those are my 5.
That was interesting. You didn't have anybody from the European side on there.
I guess. Yeah. Wow. Sorry.
That's
yeah.
okay. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right.
Yeah.
So I would say definitely Tiger. I do like Justin Thomas. I think he's a really, really competitive guy.
Yeah.
And I would love to see Jordan up there, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I mean, I really like to, because he's.
I agree. Yeah.
He needs a coach on the psychology side.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it would be more well-rounded. I want to see John Rahm because he's fiery and you just you're going to get something good out of him.
Yeah. Risk taker.
And I just to kind of add, I like Cooch. There's something about Cooch. It's just he's cool.
Good old boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like
He's
Cooch
cool.
too.
And what do I have? One more? I'm just going to say I have one more.
Yeah. If you do 6 or 7, that's fine.
If you wanted to add some drama, you'd add Patrick Reed.
I knew you were going to say that.
You just drama boy.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Tom asked me about him.
I like that
today.
Just it's all about that is the greatest 9 holes of golf, right? That you could watch.
Oh yeah.
Ever.
The back 9.
Yeah.
Oh, by far. Yeah.
It's fun.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Tiger, Brooks.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah.
Why didn't I say that?
He's got to go in there. I mean, some of the things he says is a little Johnny Millerish, but Johnny Miller's okay too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, this gets difficult because I do want to throw some Euro guys in there because I like the way they play. I think they're some of the guys are a little quiet.
Who's your favorite?
He's under the radar, but I love Graham McDowell. More in his heyday than now.
Feisty.
I mean,
Yeah.
I always think about the Ryder Cup putt that he hit, and I just wanted to just reach into the screen and punch him in the face. Either that or Ian. But
How about Justin Rose?
I like Jay Rose.
I love him.
He's
not a fan.
I watched him out at the Wells Fargo at oh my gosh.
Are you wearing
There it is.
Quail Hollow.
Quail Hollow. Yeah.
You did that on purpose. You've been saving that for the last
And he
48 minutes.
He bogeyed a hole, and I've never seen a guy go. He birdied the next 3, and his drives were like
fired up.
350. I mean, it's
Yeah,
like
he's
amazing.
sneaky long. People
Yeah.
don't give him credit for that.
Yeah.
He uses that lower body in the ground to really generate
Really
a lot of
well.
club head speed. Yeah. He
Yeah.
does.
Okay.
So Jay Rose, Brooks, Tiger, Rick. I like Ricky a lot. I mean, if you're talking about someone that's bringing new people to the game, I think you definitely got to throw him in there. And I am a JT fan. I think he's got a knack for being competitive. Sometimes he gets over his skis a little bit as far as,
Ricky,
what do you think he can do? JT.
Oh, JT. Yeah.
But I don't mind a little.
I think that's just he's still pretty young.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of talent out there.
Mhm.
Sometimes you start thinking about all of them. You're like, man, Tour's really good.
Mm.
It's really good.
I think Tommy Fleetwood.
I wish I
That's probably
I want to put him back.
Yeah.
I really like him.
Yeah. That's probably my favorite European Tour player right now. Just good swing, well-rounded.
guy.
Yeah, real good guy. And I just envy that hair. I want that same hair.
You got that beard now. Looks like a
Yeah.
werewolf.
Hey, that's what it takes. Team
Yeah.
Wolf. That's what it is. So, well, Tim, thank you so much for
Yes.
joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
This is a blast, and we appreciate you taking the time and appreciate
Yes.
letting us use the studio and continue to use the studio and always talk about SeniorVu and how blessed and we are to be able to do this. So
Appreciate
thank
it.
you.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
You guys
Yeah.
are awesome.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. If you like this podcast, be sure to like and subscribe. Leave us a review. Always helps us out. And thank you for listening.